Look at this. I got headphones on. I got a mic going. Baby.
If
Huh?
only people could see you now.
Hey, no video. We've gone through this before.
All right,
No
all right,
video.
all right. Welcome to This Commerce Life. This is a podcast aimed at small, medium entrepreneurs focused on commerce. I'm Phil, your host, and Kenny, your co-host, will join us as well. And we're going to talk to you about the world of retail and commerce and how things are changing in the world.
Hello.
Hey, I think this is a me
I can hear Shane. Hey, Shane.
How you doing?
Good, man. How's it going?
Sorry, 1 second, guys.
All good, thanks.
Just so you know, he's the techie, actually. I don't know shit about tech, but I'm on and working.
Hey, there I am.
Just
Sorry,
so we're
today
clear
it's
what
a me
happened
problem.
there, right? The non-techie was on time and ready to go.
Oh,
Baby.
now I feel like Kenny. What the heck?
How does it see how bad that feels?
Yeah,
Well,
it
nothing
feels kind of
works.
awful, actually.
The exact told you.
It's okay, Kenny. We love you.
I love you too, man.
I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I love you too. It's okay. It's
Hey,
okay.
Shane.
How you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Not bad, thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Excellent. Yeah, it's all good.
Perfect.
It's all good. Yeah.
Excellent. I bought a microphone, so hoping it works.
Look at you.
Good. Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. We love that.
Nice.
Flip on some lights here so I don't look like somebody. I had a client tell me that I look like I'm in the black room of death. Only because I happen to be wearing a black shirt and I have this black background. So I'll flip on a couple of lights and hopefully that does it.
It's all good as long as you're comfy.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Kind of excited today. So you got a couple of fans here, I think.
Excellent.
I'm a fan for sure. We have Shane Pounder on, who is from Flipp. And if you don't know Flipp, you can go to the website or you can have the app on your phone, iOS or Android. And you can look up flyers and deals in your neighborhood. I use the thing to track deals. I flag them for shopping list type stuff. Probably one of my favorite things to do is to find, because I'm a retail guy, so I don't pay full price for anything. So my favorite thing is to earmark things that, I can get deals on.
So you're one of our power users. We like power users.
You would definitely be a power user.
It's, you know what, like, so a weird thing is my favorite thing, and it's really geeky, is like in competitive parts of the summer, like when sun care and allergy medicine is like you need it the most and like it costs the most money.
It's so expensive.
Flipp is a great way, right? Because I'll just like reacting and like I only go where Flipp tells me to go, right? Because Flipp will tell me where
it's expensive.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. That's awesome.
So really excited. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Do you mind telling the audience a little bit about you?
Absolutely. How far back do you want me to go?
Whatever you want.
Go crazy, man. You do you, and it'll be fascinating. I'm
This
sure.
is your 15 minutes of fame.
Done,
Done, baby.
Done. So currently I am the Vice President of Operations and Marketing here at Flipp. So I've been here for about 5 years, but to take it back a little bit farther, I'm a small town Ontario, grew up over on Lake Huron in a pretty little village, and kind of grew up there. My mom had a bowling alley. My dad had a hotel, so lived in a couple of interesting places. My bed was literally about 20 feet from the bowling lanes at my mom's house. So I can sleep really well to the sound of balls rolling down wood floors. So that's kind of my upbringing.
That's awesome.
And then ended up at Waterloo in engineering. So I'm an engineer by trade, systems design. So I think the joke was jack of all trades, master of none. So we learned the process of engineering, but we didn't go deep on anything in particular. And so for a generalist like me who likes to see how things play out, it was a great education. And then from there, so I've moved around a fair bit. So I've changed industry a few times. And at the end of my Waterloo experience, I ended up in healthcare. Working at one of the major hospitals downtown, doing cost reporting, Did a big project on transplants, trying to figure out how much they cost the hospital so we get some more money from the government in terms of how much it cost.
Oh, cool.
But eventually hit a bit of I'll call it a glass ceiling. I wasn't clinical. And so I went back to school, got my business degree, did my MBA at U of T, and with the expectation of going into healthcare consulting afterwards. But got lucky, managed to get in with a strategy firm, and went, and in about 2 years of time in the strategy firm, probably got like 8 years of experience. Learned a lot, got to do some fun stuff like customer segmentation, worked in areas I'd never dreamed of, like industrial goods, outplacement services, burnt out badly. I'm not one of those people who's wired for 100-hour weeks. And it was a lot. So moved out of there, and through a recommendation from my cousin, and then somebody who is now my wife, ended up at Maple Leaf Foods.
Okay.
So coming out of the strategy world, realized I'm more of an operator by trade.
Okay.
I'm a pragmatist. I like stuff that makes sense. And so in Maple Leaf at that time, they had an ex-McKinsey guy who had set up Six Sigma there. And he was trying to use Six Sigma and other lean tools in more of a business problem solving setting. So looking for some ex-consultants, ex-engineer business types, and went in there and got to work in food manufacturing, starting on the bread side, then moving to protein. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Maple Leaf Foods, but it was I was there during the listeriosis and everything, and it was a great experience. I learned a ton before kind of hitting a wall. I think I'm one of those people who kind of moves around a bit and ended up in the charity world. An old Bain colleague of mine was looking for somebody to help with some process stuff. I love me some process, and was recruited into the Heart and Stroke Foundation.
Oh, that's cool too.
You really bounced all over the place. That's awesome, man.
This is cool.
So I've done professional services, publicly funded, private. I did a bit of time in the government as a co-op term, manufacturing, and now I'm in tech. Mainly project oriented, but one of the great things about coming to Flipp is I've gotten a lot more line opportunities. I was recruited into Flipp through a recruiter who was looking for somebody to come in. We were scaling really hard. This would have been back in 2015, growing quickly. And they wanted somebody to come and basically scale up the operations team. And I was fortunate enough to get through the interview process, and here I landed. And so now I've been here.
There's anything fortunate about that. That's just you being humble, I think. I've only known you all of 8 minutes. But
I got a feeling you're full of it too.
It feels...
Anyway, that sounds like,
I appreciate it.
Continue.
Wow.
So came in here on the ops side and scaled it up and started working on some, I've got a team called, so I've got an operations team, took on some content production team, which is where we look to make content and automate some content for some of our merchants. And then earlier this year, took on the marketing function as part of some rework of the team earlier. And so that's been a great experience. I did a bit of marketing at Maple Leaf Foods. I did some work during my strategy time. So it's been a nice little full circle opportunity to come in and then pull the worlds together and having a great time. Like this has definitely been one of the more interesting work experiences for sure.
You've definitely got some diversity there. Holy moly.
I've moved around a lot.
That's okay. There's nothing. It's interesting. I mean, I never moved. So when I hear people do that, I just find it fascinating that
I'm like you. So every couple of years or so, the hitting the wall thing is it's really relevant to me because you literally, in my brain, it's almost like, okay, I'm done.
Absolutely.
What do I do now? This is not it anymore.
Every 26 years, I changed jobs, right?
No, yeah.
I'm like, I'm sort of like you guys a little bit, right?
Yeah. But so it explains a lot of things, right?
That's
because
crazy.
Like,
that's
so
a lot. Wow, good for you.
In true market, like in true this Commerce Life fashion, I didn't do any homework on you, but
no, we never did.
Your LinkedIn now, and we know like a whole bunch of people, like Andrea Webster, I know from my Revlon days, and I know she was at Maple Leaf for quite a while, and then Felicia Preddy, I know from the Target days. So it's pretty
Eleanor, I
funny,
know
but
from Unilever.
that's a weird kind of association of people to know. And so I was like, whoa, how come
Small world.
you and I yeah.
Well, I just snooped today and I saw, I think it's Eleanor, it's with you guys as well. She's an account manager or something. She used to be with Unilever.
Mhm.
She was my rep. Oh shit, I don't know, like 10 years ago.
She's great.
Yeah, she's really sweet. She's super bright. Really nice person. Really nice person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did the same thing Phil did. We never do any homework, right? I mean, I know the platform. I used it. I don't use it as religiously as that one, but I'm also not out of the house at all. So the last 10 months, so I don't really do much of anything.
I still use it though. Like I actually think
I'm not shopping that much though. That's why.
It's more relevant now than it was before, right? Because one is
Absolutely.
I am not, I'm not going to every website to figure out what the hell is on, right? Like even my digital shop is pretty evolved. Like I've got it's funny, Casey Schendelman is one of yours, and I know her from Royal Conservatory days. But like Longo's is on my list of places I shop, and Costco, but I'm not going to each one to figure out what's on sale, right? Like where I'm going is Flipp, because Flipp has everything.
It definitely makes it a lot easier.
It does, and,
right?
and that's
if
the
you're
goal.
that kind of shopping with, if you can do that. This is my mom would love this. My mom likes stuff like this.
It's a fantastic planning tool, like especially if you're somebody who's motivated to move and find stuff. Like it's a fantastic planning tool to figure out where you want to go, and even for online, like going into Black Friday right now, like this is clearly our busy season. Like my ops people are working like mad right now, and being able to go in there and look and say, okay, I'm looking for a Chromebook right now. And so I am tracking a whole bunch of stuff on Flipp to figure out when there is a touchscreen Chromebook, when the deals are coming in and coming out. And you can even see like the valid dates when the deals are good on the circulars or on the flyers on the app right now. And so now I'm watching. It's like, okay, who's going to win? Yeah. Who's going to get me my cheap touchscreen thing? Yeah. So,
yeah, it's fantastic. Do you like I'm into Flipp already. I think I have lots of questions on you, but I'm already into Flipp, so I'll come back when I remember other things. Yeah. But do you? Because I think one of the things that's most interesting that our industry struggles a lot with is content. I'm sure Kenny Kinto has to it. I know when I was a brand and a retailer, it's a huge pain point. Like getting great pictures, getting the right details. Those sort of things. How do you guys go about that process? Like, is that a cooperation with the brands, or do they submit paperwork to you? How do they do all that stuff?
So there's a few different ways that it plays out. Mm-hmm. So we have our own system that we process all the assets and make it interactive. And so depending on the level of relationship we have with the specific retailer, will often lead to what you see on the app. And so when you look at certain retailers, like some of the bigger ones, like a Walmart Canada or a Home Depot Canada, we get the assets direct from the retailer. And so we get like PDFs that we can pull better images off of. Sometimes we can pull stuff right off their website if we've got the right setup, so that we can have really nice, clean, crisp images for it. And so when we've got those direct relationships with the merchants, we're able to do a really nice job of pulling in that content. And we'll also have a much richer, we'll call it a tagging experience, but when you look at all the different pieces that are in there, like the descriptions, the pricing, there will be more information within the item details that you'll see. And then there will be other cases where some of the smaller retailers where we don't have a relationship with, but we're still getting their content, it'll be a simpler experience. So there is a little bit of variation, but the lion's share of the big guys, we've got really nice stuff because we're able to work directly with them. We onboard with them, and we've built really good, really tight relationships with them.
But they're supplying most of the content, though. It's there in essence. I'm trying to remember for London Drugs days. I think we used to just submit, I wasn't in marketing, I was in buying. I think they would just submit whatever the flyer was. I guess they would just send you the PDF of it.
Exactly. And our whole business model for the guys we work directly with is we want to do the heavy lifting for them. Right. We don't want them to have to do it. So send us your PDFs, all your versions, because with everyone, you're going to have a pretty solid versioning document, especially if you're dealing with like a big home and garden. a couple of our American ones in the States. There's tons and tons of versions. So they send us that, and then our system you bring it in, and then we're able to kind of stitch together all the different versions properly, make sure it's all set up effectively. But yeah, in some cases it's that simple. London Drugs is one we definitely work with, and we get the assets directly from.
Yeah, I think with most of the majors, I would do that. I would assume that's the way to do that, because for you guys to build content, wouldn't that be like, that'd be a bit of a challenge? Would that be?
It would be. There's a couple ways you can do it though. There's the direct method, you get it, but then you can go and get content off of the website. So a lot of it is publicly available. So if the content goes live on the retailer site, we can go and bring it down
from there. Okay.
And then we can process it and tag it. Now the timelines are a little bit different. Whereas normally if we're going to work with a big retailer, we'll have pretty solid lead times, and we can work with them, in some cases provide previews, so that we can make sure that it's done really well.
Mm-hmm. So of the stuff that you have online, how much of it's fed to you, and how much do you have to go on the hunt for? Like, I'm assuming at the beginning it was a hunt. Like you're just scrambling, you're trying to find anything. And I assume once you get going, you go to the same people all the time or the same sites. So if you don't have a partnership, you're just doing your own job. You're uploading whatever you like, I guess, or whatever you're uploading.
Absolutely. It would depend on how you do the math. If you do it based on kind of views and relative size and scale of the retailers, I'd say we've got the lion's share of it direct. Most of the stuff that will pull off their websites will be smaller retailers. There's a couple of exceptions to that, but most of the big stuff, the high engagement stuff, we're going to work directly with our partners, because it's in their best interest too, because then we can set it up the way they like it. We can make sure we're distributing it really well for them. And in some cases, there's some things we can do, like some, not bells and whistles, but ways we can add some value to it. And in some other cases, if you'll be on the retailer website, you can see a little note under their flyer experience that says powered by Flipp. We'll also, we've got a platform to help them run it off their own website as well.
Wow.
Interesting.
That's really cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sorry, Phil, are people finding you then, or like, do you have people like, or like, to me, if I was a retailer, I would not be adverse to being on Flipp, because I know it's highly used. I know people are looking at it. I'd be sometimes, if I was small, I'd be worried that I might get lost in, 16-page, 24-page periodicals. And, do I get seen? Like, I don't know how, if you can help me with that, if I'm a small retailer, or how would I do it? I just knock on the door and say, hey guys, I'm here. Can I be on Flipp?
Yep, for the most.
Please.
I want to be with the other guys. Can I be there too? Help me.
We do get that. We do get inbounds, and we will add more people to the experience as we can. There's been a bit of a backlog as people have tried to come in. For the most part, though, the main focus has been on some of the big guys, and then working on identifying which is the content in the different geographies that we really need to get. Like the one thing you will notice is, like in the Toronto market, for example, or the Ontario market, we're pretty well saturated. We've got, you'll look in and there'll be some mom and pop stuff, and it's like, oh, that's here. Some of the smaller chains that we'll get, because we are, we're an Ontario company. And so we were able to build it from there. And then we've been able to do that in Canada. We've got really good comprehensiveness in Canada, and we've come a long way in the States in the past few years. So I'd say we're actually pretty solid there. We've got most of your majors as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta say pre-COVID, when I was traveling, the Flipp experiences are really, it's actually way more useful than maybe, I don't know, maybe you guys know this already, but, like when I used to travel to the US, I get a lot of requests where people go, oh, you're going there, could you grab me? But, you get to certain areas, like, know New Jersey pretty well because of J&J and so on and so forth, and Minnesota because of Target. But at some point you get to places where you're like, I don't know what's around here. And the easiest thing to do is to pop into actually like a Flipp or Yelp, right, for food. But Flipp, I'll pop in and it'll tell me what my closest retailers are.
Yep.
Right. And it's a great way to help me figure out, like, where to go, how to find things. And then I do okay, where can I get it the cheapest while I'm there? But it's fantastic. I love it.
So in your experience though, what are you finding though, like in terms of consumers? So you've got Phils who are out there running around Canada or the States, when we were allowed to run around Canada and the States. and hopping on. Like, I'm assuming you have a solid regular user base that you
Absolutely.
can track. You can see that there's fills.
Yep.
Then you got people like me who pop in, pop out.
Mhm.
I shop differently than he does. I use it, but I'm not religiously and fanatical like him. Like, I won't change directions. Like, I'll go to the places I go. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, whatever.
And to your point, we've definitely got a core group of users who are like, they're the weekly shopping people. They are using it for their grocery. They're trying to decide, am I going to Food Basics or Freshco this week? Where are the deals? Where am I going to get my best basket? And they are religious. It's like the old flyer shoppers, you know, one Saturday morning, all the flyers would come up and you're circling. It's okay, I'm going to go get this here and this here and this here. And so we've got a core group of that, definitely here for sure. And then you've got the people who are, I don't want to say hobbyists, but they're a little less week in, week out, but they're still looking to find the deal. So Black Friday is a great example of that, where you've got everybody coming in. It's like, okay, I want my TV and I want the best deal on the TV. Where is it? And this year has been pretty interesting because Black Friday has stretched. Oh, yeah. And, you know, in the States, we had content out middle of October, labeled Black Friday. Canada was a little bit later, but we still went early this year. Yeah. And so that brings in a whole new cohort of people that are coming in and not a full-on treasure hunt, but they're looking to find that big deal that's really going to drive them on that one big ticket item that they're looking for. So we do have a mix, but we do have a very loyal core group of users in both Canada and the States.
And do they hang out on the page for a nice extended period amount of time, or what are they doing?
Hopping
back and forth. I'm just picturing Phil. That's all I've got in my head. Because if I picture my mom, I mean, my mom's been doing that for, you know, because she's a lot older than Phil. I mean, I expect my mom, but I'm just picturing Phil. Page after page after page.
They're doing it. We've got people are spending a lot of time on the app, and those loyal ones, those ones who are less brand loyal in terms of the retailer and willing to move around, like they are going deep. They're either using the search function to find their stuff, or they are going line by line by line, or sorry, page by page by page, trying to find the thing. They're hardcore. It takes a lot of time. I appreciate the effort.
I really, this is turning into more of a fanboy session than an interview, but I'm okay with that.
That's all good.
I'm good too.
Nothing wrong with that.
Fanboy away.
One of the things that I used to love a lot was, Thursday nights when all the circulars drop at my front door. Yeah. And then I really would. I would just sit and flip because it helped me understand the ins and outs of the market, who's advertising when, promo strategies, things that I could really process. And I got to be honest, like when Flipp first came out, I was like, this can't replace that experience. I'm just not going to, but it actually has. Like,
it has so easily.
At all. Like, and the fact that now, I think you've had it a long time now, but you can toggle to latest flyer, and so I can see what pops up. I can see what's upcoming. I'm fascinated, right? Because I can actually peruse a flyer the way I would before, right? Like on your phone, it's actually the same experience. You're actually flipping with your finger to like you're flipping through a circular, right? So it's actually quite nice. So
it's nice that you don't have to wait for it to hit the door. I mean, nothing hits the door anymore. I mean, we don't even get those anymore, obviously. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But it was even when this first came out, it's hard at the beginning because I'm like you. Like it was almost like but it was easy. I mean, we used to have newspapers. What happened? Stop getting newspapers. Why? Because who cared? You got an iPad or whatever, your phone. You looked at it. But when Flipp sort of came out, it was kind of nice not to have the dirty fingers. Didn't have to wait as long. If the guy didn't show up when he's supposed, you know what I mean? Like there was times when he expected for coffee time. Yeah. And they missed. Because I used to do Saturday mornings, right? It was a Saturday morning drop. And then you'd go through and figure out what the hell was going on in the world or whatever.
Yeah. And this licking your finger and then
yeah, that looking at the finger thing, now that you think that's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, it was. It was gross.
Yeah, that's really bad. But with this, you could do it any time, right?
Yeah.
All the time. Didn't matter if someone threw them out. So they went into recycling early. Big deal.
Yep. Right? And then even so, I think we've also got, like, from a content comprehensiveness perspective, you've also got access to things you probably didn't have before. Like even back where I came from, where, now to be fair, when I was growing up, there weren't a lot of big box stores around, but there's a lot more content back there that I wouldn't have had access to.
Oh, 100%.
Which is great.
So we're all clicking and doing stuff, right? Like we're looking at stuff, we're making lists. Does a retailer get insight? So if I'm on the Costco flyer, for example, and I'm clicking on the hot buys and I'm looking at things, do you, like, obviously you're tracking all my clicks and everything like that. Do they get a sense of, like,
do you provide analytics?
Some sort of heat map of what happens, or analytics on what's happening on their flyers?
So a bit of that depends on the relationship we've got with the merchants, but where we're close with them, there's definitely work we'll do with them around what people are looking for and what they can learn from it. So we've got a couple of analytics teams internally that help us work with the retailers to understand, what is the experience doing for them in order to give them that understanding as well. Like there's some pretty deep stuff within the content in terms of, what is everybody looking at? And to your point around heat maps, there's some interesting information there for sure.
Yeah. I mean, cause it's one of those things that, I don't know. I think when I was on the brand side, we'd pressure retailers for, and then when I was on the retailer side, we'd really love the answers to. It's like, you put together this flyer, but you have no idea,
We'd have your own insight, but you didn't want to share that with anybody. But you wanted all these sites to tell us what they were doing. You just wanted to know
it's a little bit different, right? Because even when you're on the retailer side and you get your own flyer information back, there's so many things that can't tell you, right? It only tells you, was the merchant good at putting out the right deal? Do they have a nice picture? Maybe, right? You could kind of guess from POS data. Like heat maps are totally different because I'm clicking on stuff and I don't buy anything, or I don't click the next button that says shop here, or whatever the term is, right? Yeah. Then it probably tells them something totally different than, oh my gosh, like, all these people hit the shop now button and they went to the websites, right? Presuming that, now you get some attribution from the websites where it went, look like Flipp, Flipp converted, 15 people, 15 fills, to buy, whatever was on deal, right? So, yeah.
And we've got a few different tools that will work on them. We'll do different tests with them. Like if there's a specific thing that they want to work with us on in terms of understanding, does this work? Does that work? We can set up tests and have done that in the past with some of our partners for sure, in order to try and help them understand what is working and what isn't. So there is some richness in it for sure.
Now, is that something without, you don't have to say, if it's trade secrets, you don't have to say, but is that monetized? So like, how does Flipp stay afloat?
Yep. So we're a pay for promotion. So if you go onto the app, the promoted retailers, the stuff that you see with the tiles, that is how our model works.
Okay. Are you also selling the analytics? Sorry, Phil.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Are you also, when we're like Phil and I were talking about the analytics and stuff, are you, if a retailer says, listen, I'd really like to know more about how my page is viewed in general, and then maybe without telling me who I'm against, but maybe within the same industry, how am I viewed relative to others? Is that a service that I can purchase?
We're not selling
analytics?
We're not selling analytics as a thing, where it'll be, you come in and say, can I get this and this and this, and they'll pay you X dollars. It's more of a distribution promotion model right now in terms of how we do things. There are a couple of other things, like we'll support people in some of their media planning around some of their advertising, like Facebook, Google, that kind of thing, because we've got content we can use to support. But in terms of selling the analytics itself, it's not a give you us $5 and we'll do a test for you.
Okay.
Sorry if I interrupted you.
No, that was part of my question too. I think was trying to figure out some of that stuff. And then, so the feature tab is kind of where you make some of your revenue, right? Like getting featured on the feature tab of Flipp. Is that what you were saying?
So if you're on the front page of the app and you're looking at it, the stuff that's right at the top, the featured stuff. Yeah. Okay. So it's
I'm on my computer while we're talking. I've got the screen split.
I'm doing my best not to jump into flyers, right? Because
I've already done that too. Because you started, and that's what happens. This is always your fault though, because you always go to the web page, which means I go to the web page, and then I've got ADD like you, and then what am I supposed to do? Now I've got flyers open. Now I'm curious too, because I was looking at I was doing this last week with Black Friday. but it looks like a few might be brand new flyers, or I've forgotten already. Now I have to look again.
There's still content dropping. There's still new content coming out. Like this has been a long drawn out Black Friday. We were refreshing stuff right up until
It's going to go right till
end.
January. It's going to be Black January. It's going to be interesting this year. So all these guys here, so like there's a Dyson box, not to highlight anybody, but Dyson has a block here. Superstore has a lot. These would be, these are guys saying, listen, I want prominence on the Flipp page. And this is some ways that you can monetize, how you guys have monetized your world.
Yeah, it's to get a promoted.
Makes total sense. It's a good, I mean, obviously you got to make some money somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
And if I was a retailer, I'd probably be more than happy to do this, to the point where I'm looking at the ones who aren't doing it and thinking that's kind of a miss. You
got to go looking for it. Like then the user intent's got to be different.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'm just snooping, I might stop, let's say, at the Staples now, because I've gone through 7 or 8 different flyers as I'm scrolling down and think, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Where you look at it, and I knew Best Buy would be up high because they're gonna. It's just a smart thing to do.
Yeah, there's
but
definitely.
I'm surprised some of the grocers went as high as they did.
It's pretty competitive in the grocer side though, and people will trade from one to the other.
It's just the Black Friday aspect. I guess why I'm looking at it, right? Because right now my head would be, when I go on a flyer right now, I'd be Black Friday focused, right? I mean that's just me.
Electronics.
And I'm thinking, a Superstore does sell. So the first one was more the electronics and then the cosmetics. But then I saw Price Smart, which is Save on Foods. And I thought, wow, that's an interesting drop in the middle of Sephora and the Source.
Yeah, but you never know when.
But not a bad idea, because now I've stopped thinking, what the hell are they doing?
Now you're going to go to Save On. There you go.
Well, I'm going to go to Price Smart anyway. I want to see what the hell
sorry.
they've done. But this is their more of their ethnic play.
So this is how it starts. So you start there.
Well, I've already done it, Phil. Because
I am, which is I'm.
Now I'm going to start spending money, and it's going to irritate the shit out of me.
It's a total rabbit hole, but it's a good rabbit hole.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Listen to you, Joe Salesman over there. Sure, it's a good rabbit hole.
So I have some other questions. I'm curious about things like attribution. Like, so if I click on something in Best Buy and I can go to I can go to Best Buy's website from Flipp. Mm-hmm. I guess 2 questions in there is, one is there's almost like a sense of affiliate marketing there, right? Because that's how influencers do it. They kind of go, this thing's pretty cool at Best Buy. You should click on my link. I'll get a little bit of cash out of it. You'll go to Best Buy, they'll get a conversion out of it. So I guess one is that part of your revenue model? And then the second one is, do you see in the numbers, like, do you lose people? Like, so if I follow a rabbit hole down to a fridge, a Samsung fridge, that's what popped up on Best Buy's flyer right now, and I go and click on the website and I go away, do I come back again to the flyer this week, or do I leave and then come back next week when I've saved up some pennies again?
Yeah, this is an interesting conversation that we've had internally as well, is when people go to leave the experience to build a cart somewhere or something, do they come back to the experience? So we definitely track that. And obviously you don't want to add friction into the app and into the experience, where people feel like they're going out and in and out and in, and you want to be able to keep people getting access to all that savings and deals content we've got. So you'll notice that not everyone has that opportunity. So we're not going out for all of them, because in some cases, for example, there may not be e-com, there may not be an opportunity to do online. So there's some variation in when we do that. We're definitely tracking to it though, to try and understand how it is, just so we understand how does it impact the experience, and we talk to our users about it. And ultimately, if you come at it from the shopper perspective, if I'm coming in and I'm looking for that Samsung fridge, I may want to be able to buy it. And so we also don't want to block that, because we want this to be a good experience for the shopper. And so if they need to go in there and make the purchase, so be it. And then we hope they're loyal enough to come back, and they usually do.
It opens in a separate page anyway, so it's not hard to go back.
Exactly.
But I think if you didn't let me leave to go and purchase this, I'd probably be more pissed than not anyway.
Yep.
I want out. If I click, like, I just clicked on the TV because we need a new TV. I mean, this is why it's going to happen. I'm going to buy a TV over this podcast.
But as a marketer, I don't want you to go anywhere, right? Like that's.
I know you don't, but at the end of the day, I'm a consumer though right now. Yeah, but I'm a consumer at this moment. Yeah. I'm on this for a purpose. I mean, I'm assuming I'm not killing time. I want to do something. I want to buy something,
and I want you to come back. Yeah. Like I know I don't want you to leave, but I also want you to come back because you got what you wanted out of the experience. Yeah. Exactly. And coming at it from the shopper perspective, if they're looking to buy and they're motivated to buy, then buy. Mm-hmm. But we want to make sure the experience is good enough that you come back and you find, you know, you bought the fridge, now I want the TV. Okay, come, let us help you find the TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
The fact that it doesn't close down, I would come back. I mean, it's so easy to do. Why not? Mm-hmm.
Well, clearly I've come back. So whatever you're doing, you should keep.
Well, bottom line is I just almost bought a TV and I've gone back into the webpage. So quite frankly, it hasn't hurt me at all either.
Oh man. And then sorry. So on kind of that idea of jumping out to a website, is that, again, without trade secrets or anything, but I'm just curious whether that works into the equation that you have with like a Best Buy, for example, or one of these retailers where you're now able, because that's also new age marketing, right? Because you can actually show them numbers. In the old days with flyers, you can't show them anything.
Well, who the hell knew what anybody did?
You know, we distributed this many, but they just showed up on people's porches. You have no idea if they open them. Now you can actually give them, you know, kind of end-to-end stats on how many people did we drive right to your website, right?
Yeah, and this is stuff that we have the conversations directly with the retailer about in terms of how we want to maneuver through those things. What is the experience that they want? Like some retailers will come in and say, you know, I want that. I want to be able to buy online and push through it, and I want to understand how that's playing out. Mm-hmm. And then we'll have the discussion. It goes to the earlier discussion around analytics too, as if we've got a good partnership with someone, we'll work with them around getting them the information that'll help them make better decisions, for sure. But in terms of affiliate being a primary source for us, not so much in terms of the approach right now.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. And then I noticed that you have a restaurant on here now.
Oh yes. Which restaurant?
Would you see that?
I don't know if this says anything about my diet choices, but Taco Bell showed up for me, which is totally cool.
Okay, where'd you find that?
Well, so if you're on the web browser on the left side,
I left the phone and the iPad downstairs.
There's like all flyers, Black Friday, groceries, and then restaurant.
No, mine's got home card. Doesn't have restaurant because I'm not out. I'm on laptop, so I'm assuming he knows that.
It's like, so this is really cool because I'd love to see what you guys are thinking about where you go, because I think the other ones that are really neat is the fact that eBay is now, you know, a flyer on your site. As well, right? Which is super cool that, you know, even the e-commerce guys are starting to roll into this. And I'm pretty sure I've seen Amazon flyers on here as well.
Yep.
I don't see what. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, starting with the restaurant, the QSR, you know, there's a huge affinity for our shoppers between what they're doing on a regular basis, but they're also very interested in QSR content. And the Venn diagram overlaps a fair bit here. So we've looked at a few different ways around how do you surface that content, because the content's often a little bit different. It tends to be a little bit more coupon focused. It's monthly versus weekly. So there's a few differences in terms of how it plays out. But there's definitely a few that we're working with to try and figure out how do we make that work even better on the app for people, because it's content people want. And then similarly on eBay and Amazon. So this is stuff that we've started looking at because, you know, and I think the pandemic has made this even more clear. Strictly servicing a brick and mortar world isn't sufficient. And, you know, as a shopper, you want to have that confidence that you understand the deals, not only, you know, at the place you walk into, but also online.
Right.
And so we want to be able to surface really good savings and deals for our shoppers. And so looking at some of these e-com pure play guys, as well as like some of the omni guys we work with, there's some opportunity there. And so that's definitely a bit of an adjustment in how we've looked at the world over the past few years.
I was surprised at how useful the eBay was.
Yeah.
Just because, like, you know, eBay is one of those experiences that you're used to, like let's go on there and figure it out, right? Like, so, you take a bunch of things, and then eventually you wind up at some obscure deal that you probably never would have found if you didn't click on things. But the fact, and I don't know why it seems so reasonable, but the fact that they have a flyer in here organizes my shopping experience, which means I can look at eBay differently, right? Like I can actually look at them instead of like an auction. I can actually look at them like a retailer, right?
Which is funny, and that's all I did until a second ago. I'm on eBay every day, like 6 hours a day, because I'm selling cards and coins and shit, right? So, I don't even think of eBay this way, and I'm looking, oh, this changed the look of eBay.
Did you sign into Flipp? Because I feel like Shane should just track what you do for the next week or so.
No, you know what? I did not sign in, and for that reason.
I'm not going to big brother you. Don't worry.
Oh, you're too kind. I definitely do. It'd be fascinating to see what Kenny does, like by next week. So.
Now I'm flipping around, right? Because again, I'm just looking and thinking, I did not realize eBay had was doing this kind of shit.
Well, and to your point, this is around like how you curate and how you pull together the experience to make it easier for the shopper.
Right.
And this is around surfacing that savings content for people. And so it's trying to make it as accessible as possible.
So like resource wise, I think it's something that's hard to do, I guess. So in the pandemic, there's so many local retailers who may not get, they're struggling, right? All of them.
Absolutely.
So if you're a little, if I define little as being like a single mom and pop shop, is there a way that these guys can get into? You're not a charity, so I'm not suggesting any of those sort of things, but is there a way that little guys can get in here too? Do you know what I mean?
Critical.
Like, I feel like those guys are the ones, Best Buy guys, they have money to spend, but they're going to reach their audience, maybe albeit a smaller audience, but they're going to reach, but the local guys don't have. This feels like a wonderful.
I think one of the, if I'm being honest, one of the main blockers here is around availability of content.
Yeah.
And you run into a bit of a situation where folks like the smaller retailers, like the mom and pop corner grocery, they probably don't have a full-on publication that one can work with in some cases. So there are some limitations on what we can actually bring in and maneuver through the app. And because of the way that our systems are set up. So I'd love to be able to say that there's, bring us all your content, but there are limitations just from a resourcing perspective and an asset.
It would be a piece of paper. Like,
well,
here you go.
But they do that now. If you think about it, a lot of them still did the one-page like newspaper, like the local newspaper, one page back page was typically a grocer, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. So they would have the materials. And to be frank with you, I mean, see, the ones who don't let me go to the website to actually close a transaction frustrate the hell out of me. Mm-hmm. Like the ones who I go on, like I've got two people right now. One I came from and one I'd probably go buy it with, because the one I would buy with allows me to buy right now. I can go to their page, I can buy the damn thing. The other one makes me clip it, right? Mm-hmm. Which and I don't want to do that. You know why? Because wasn't where my mind was at. I'm online. I can actually cinch the deal, right?
Not yet. We'll ask.
Not yet. Well, I got to check with the boss anyway. I can't buy TV without the boss knowing. She'll kill me. I'm not that stupid. I've been around.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
I
wasn't trying to put you on the spot, because I think what you're doing is amazing.
But I think a little guy could do that, Phil. So my point is that if they loaded their flyer and it was just a matter of clipping the things you'd want, I think a little guy, provided they came to you not as a charity, but as hey, here's a one pager. You guys might have to help them a little bit. I'm sure you would charge for that or whatever you can figure out. But I like that idea too, Phil, especially when it's a postal code application, right? That's what we're all doing. If you type in a postal code so it doesn't show me stuff that's in Toronto, because I don't really care what's going on in Toronto. I'm in Vancouver and that's where I want to shop. But it would be great if there was a little more local content, provided the local content could do this. It's not for you to go.
But to Shane's point, though, a lot of these guys, they don't.
It's tough. They don't have anything,
right? Like
I know. I get it. Yeah.
So and it does. It is a bit of a scale thing. Like one of the things that we are trying to do right now is, specifically in the areas going into lockdown, we're trying to add more information to say, okay, these retailers are open, these aren't open, This one you can still do buy online, pick up in store and stuff like that. So we're trying to add some additional messaging. We've adjusted some of the ways we put stuff up so people can add different inserts and everything. We can append it to their publication, so we can say, okay, here's what to expect when you show up at this store.
Right.
So we are looking for ways to help our merchant partners where we can, for sure.
Which is amazing. Yeah.
It's pretty cool though, right? I mean, I'm assuming that you've seen dramatic changes in usage and
it's been an adventure. It was
like I can only imagine. So like without sharing, like what kind of increase have you seen in the last year? Let's say it's like I'm assuming you were doing it anyway. You were going that way no matter what, and then this thing.
It's varied, and it's been interesting watching even the U.S. versus Canadian market. Like there's some variation. You know, if you go back to March, everybody remembers the night the NBA shut down and Tom Hanks got COVID.
Yeah.
And basically that was the start of it. And then it was like a bunch of different stages. It was immediately we had retailers reaching out and saying, oh my gosh, I've run out of this. I need to swap my page out. You know, I had paper towels on and the paper towels are gone. Can you grab this page, take that page down? Because one of the benefits of us is we can adjust your publication for you. And so you're not stuck with just the paper thing that's out there. And so that happened for a few days. And then the shelves cleared. And then it's like, I don't have anything. And it was a little bit more pronounced in the States than it was here because of kind of the fragmentation, the relative fragmentation. And the Canadian grocery, like the supply chain is solid. So, you know, the Canadian content was really steady throughout, but in the States, it fell off pretty quick because they've got a lot of smaller, medium-sized retailers and the supply chain was all over the place. And then we went into this weird little regulation area where different geographies were doing different things. It's like, you're on lockdown, you're not. And so then the versioning got really interesting because some retailers were say, okay, I can put it up here, but I can't put it up over here.
Oh my.
And that went on for a couple of weeks. And then we hit what I'll call COVID steady state, which is kind of, okay, you know, in Canada, we're in pseudo lockdown, but we're slowly lifting things off. And in the States, it was a bit of a myriad of different things. And so it's been stage by stage by stage. The States is most of the content came back over time. In Canada, we didn't lose as much as I was expecting, honestly. But there was still some regulatory stuff we had to maneuver through, but it recovered reasonably well. And so even now going into the lockdown here in Ontario, the content, like there's some adjustments happening, but it's more people adjusting the messaging than taking the content away completely.
And that's on the side that's feeding the content. And on the usage side, are you seeing? I don't know. What are you seeing? What are you allowed to tell me you're seeing? Like what's going on out there? What's the consumer look like? Has he or she changed? The amount of time we're on changed? The amount of times that come to you changed?
A little bit, but not as much as I would have expected. I would have expected people had a lot more free time on their hands, and they would have spent, you know, I'm going to look at 30 flyers instead of 5 flyers.
Right.
But that's not what played out. Like it's.
So you feel you're not normal. You're not. Phil's looking. He goes, "Oh, geez, I that's all I did." I told Phil, you're not normal.
And again, I'm okay with that. I'll take a couple not normal power users. It helps us.
I'm happy to balance out your cult.
Absolutely. I was dead serious. I was curious to see like what happened. Like, I mean, we definitely know more people shop online.
Weird. That's all you want to do there. I understood that.
Well, now that we've proven that, we've moved on. So now we're trying to look at. I just assumed that you would have had definitively a lot more people on because we did have. I mean, yeah, there's definitely more time. I mean, we were all shopping. Like people were, went bananas. Nobody left the house, so they just bought it. Amazon's at the door every day.
Yeah.
Or somebody.
Yeah, me too. And we have seen there's the user patterns have changed a bit, but like I said, not huge. And so we're still growing, which is great.
Interesting.
But it hasn't been massive. Now we're in a bit of a different, because we're seasonal to begin with. And so we generally, the start of the year starts a bit lower. And then, we move into Black Friday when a lot of our people who are coming in for the big deals show up. So we're looking at that right now and just watching how it plays out. And so, fingers crossed the next 3 days are busy.
I got a feeling you might be.
Yeah, I have a feeling you might be.
I got a feeling you might be.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful. Our biggest days usually, like in the next 3 days, tends to be our biggest days.
Right.
So we spend a lot of time watching the numbers as the day goes on.
Okay. Wow. Fantastic.
Pretty cool, man. Like seriously, I mean, it's
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just pretty cool.
Yeah.
And now I'm just flipping through flyers. Like honestly.
Let me know if you find any good deals. Although I guess you're in a different market than I am, so
Yeah, it's not going to help you too.
if it's online.
Well, if it's that's true too, and you can always
Hook me
make an
up.
argument and to let them know that
Yeah, depends on what you're looking for, but there's definitely some good deals out there.
Well, I got to look for the stupid mesh thing you keep telling me I need to buy.
Oh, Wi-Fi mesh. That's a public service announcement. If you don't have it, if you're a listener, if you're anybody who can hear this, if you don't have Wi-Fi mesh in your house.
If you're banished to your basement because you're too loud and it's bugging your wife while she's trying to have a call, the mesh router can be helpful.
Mesh, yeah.
So you two. This is something I need to do. Even for I got two of you on me now. Okay.
Dude, I'm telling you, it'll change your life. Like it literally, you can hide in a corner of your any corner of your house with mesh, and you'll be fine.
No regrets.
There are lots of them on
There's
Flipp.
tons of deals right now.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, that's why I'm on this stupid thing now. Here we go. Now my whole afternoon. Guess what I'm going to be doing?
Excellent. Shane, thank you for coming on. That
was awesome, Shane. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No worries.
What a cool
Glad
thing.
to have you. Yeah. If folks want to find you, what's the best place to find you and Flipp?
LinkedIn is the best place. That's kind of that's the social media I do.
Yeah, me too.
That's
All of us.
kind of where I spend most of my time.
Yeah. And then Flipp is flipp.com, right? Is where they should be looking.
You can go to flipp.com, and that's Flipp with 2 P's, not one, FLIPP. But you can also download it off App Store, Android, either or work off the web, whichever you prefer. So yeah, come find it, download it, and find all the deals. It's awesome.
Tons of deals, baby. Tons of deals.
Thank you so much for coming on. This is
Shane, thanks. That was pretty cool, man.
No worries.
Yeah,
Appreciate the invite.
You know what would be awesome is if in like 3 months you wanted to come back and talk about trends you see.
I'd love to hear that.
Well, definitely hit us up, and we'd love to have you on.
Definitely.
Because you probably got some pretty interesting insight, and you'll probably have more coming as well. So.
Yeah, I can even do some prep work for you and have some decent info.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
We're not going to prep though, just so you know. That's your prep.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
I just want to make sure that's very clear that people don't, hey, easy there, cowboy. Hey, we set the bar really low. Don't start fooling around.
All right, awesome.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Shane.
Anytime. Cheers.
Thanks.
Cheers, man.
Bye.
Phil, stay on.
Yeah, you got it.
Very cool, man. That's quite the.
I just
I think there's so many ways to monetize. I'm just bad, right? Because I probably go like I just think, fuck, you know how much you can monetize the hell out of this.
Yeah, I know.
I'd be selling back analytics.
Yeah, I know. This
is how people read your flyer. This is how people read your competitor's flyer.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's and honestly, like I didn't want to put him on the spot, but I do think like he's going to push the old model right out of the way. It's already teetering on gone, and I don't know if there's anybody else out there doing anything like this.
Not as robust, and where it feels like a Flipp has always felt funny to me.
Mm-hmm.
It never it doesn't. Do you remember like the red flag deals and all those where they just didn't feel like this? Flipp always felt like it was an industry thing.
Yeah,
it's always clean. It's slick but not offensive. Like you almost feel like you're just in a department store of departments. Stores. Yeah. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. I always feel you never feel like you're flyer shopping or anything like that. It's like you're on Amazon or eBay. It's like you're ready just to go, right?
So you should play some elevator music in the background, and then it's.
They need mood music.
I know, right? Maybe that's what it is. You need some mood music, and then you're
mood music. I would definitely if I'm a retailer and on this, seriously, let people go and buy. If you have online capability, and you are making a clip, I think it's a big mistake. Right now in today's world, because so. I will close. I don't have any problem have 10 boxes coming from 10 different retailers to the house. I don't find it offensive at all.
But the caveat, I guess, is, and where we didn't push very hard on this, but is the cost model difference, right? And whether there is one or not. You know what I mean?
You're gonna lose people in today's world, Phil. We can't go out. You guys can't leave the house.
Yeah. I know. But all I'm saying is,
I get it.
Like some of these retailers, they've got lots of products on here, right? Like I'm looking at Real Canadian Superstore.
Yeah.
Bad example because they got lots of money, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've easily got 14, 15 boxes here. So if all of them are buy now boxes, there's some other stuff downstream to worry about. Like, what does the basket look like when you check out? Does all that stuff go smooth? Where does that data go? There's some of that stuff that's.
Yeah, I guess there's some other stuff you have to worry about, but you're not building the basket on. And this is one thing I don't know, because you're not building the basket on Flipp. You're building the basket on their site. And I know Flipp doesn't want you to leave.
I think.
But one thing, I'll come back, and two, as the retailer that's on this, you have no problem leaving and coming to the store and shopping. And
I think it's. I don't think it's them. I think the leaving was me
as the marketer.
Inherently, I don't want you to go. I want you to stay. I don't want you to do everything. But they. I mean, Shane seemed to be really comfortable with it because they just seem to come back. Right? I come back.
I would come back.
Yeah.
I go to a store, Phil. I do some shopping.
Yeah.
I fill my cart. I empty my. I pay for my cart. And I go shopping again. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to clip right now. Like, to me, when I'm looking at this from a retailer standpoint, is you're not allowed out in Ontario. You're not allowed out in Manitoba. You're really not allowed out in BC.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I going to do with this clip?
I know.
What do you want me to do? I'm not going out. So if you make me clip, you don't let me shop, you know what I'm going to do. That's it for that one. I go to the next guy.
Man, yeah. Anyway, I think it's cool. I'm so glad he came on.
It was very interesting. It's such a neat.
And I didn't know. So I didn't know I didn't know that, not Shane, but I didn't know that Flipp was a Canadian-based company.
Nor did I.
I
Canada.
They had an office here in Toronto, but I didn't know that they were Canadian-based.
No.
So that's super cool.
Especially flyers. Because flyer shopping, coupon shopping is really and truly an American.
Yes.
Well, it's an American thing. I mean, you all seen the shows. You can walk out with a free basket.
Yeah. If
you do couponing in the States, you can't do that in Canada. Yeah. Right. But I'm surprised it's Canadian. But it's a nice clean site, man. It just does not feel like a flyer shopping.
I'm going to switch gears. I want to do something because we're almost at an hour, but I want to do a couple of shout outs. I think lots of people are listening to us for the first time. So one is, if you're listening to us and you're new to the show, thank you for listening to us, putting up with us every week for an hour.
As we're shopping.
I'd love to hear from you. You can find us at This Commerce Life at gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook at This Commerce Life, or on Instagram as well at This Commerce Life. And then there are two people that have been listening that have been bugs in my ear. One is a fellow by the name of Andy Rust. He's a sales guy, and he listens to every episode. We talk about it all the time, which is cool. And the other one is a lady by the name of Jean Sikio, and she's been listening up a storm. So I'm actually getting WhatsApp messages from her going, I just listened to so-and-so, I listened to so-and-so, and I listened to so-and-so. So, so I'm getting those. She said to me the other day by WhatsApp, she said, I listened to these episodes and I liked Kelly's episode a lot, but I think it makes me a geek, but I liked Cherry's episode more, right? And I was like,
interesting.
Oh my God, she's really she's in it, right? So, so thank you for listening.
And you didn't even call up to the boss?
What's that?
You didn't give a call up to the boss? That was dangerous.
I haven't done it yet. Now you cut the.
Well, you said two people. Oh, yeah, you walked down that path. That's not me.
This podcast wouldn't be made possible without the love and support of the boss, aka Linda.
Holy shit, you're
as always, we thank you. She is she's a wonderful fan. She likes everything that we put out.
Once again, Linda, you know who saved it there, eh? Just remember that.
Linda, if you're looking, if it's COVID times and you're rationalizing people, I'd just like to point out that Kenny cut the legs out from underneath me at the end there. So
that's so not true, Linda. Just remember that I was on your side. I was just waiting for Phil. I thought, wow, that's just what happened to Phil.
Oh man,
forgot about the boss.
Yeah. Anyway,
no, that's good.
Yeah,
we had a lot of people really interested in the last one.
Yeah.
That was fun though. You haven't posted the latest one, have you?
No. I'm a little behind. I was supposed to do it noon today, but it's been back to back.
So. No, that's okay.
Yeah,
but I was telling Amelia when she came down. She goes, "Wow, you seem pretty excited." I said, "Well, I said we were talking about ethnic marketing." I said, I just love it, right? I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
Like I just thought that was just so cool.
Yeah.
Such a cool.
Amazing.
So did you watch the commercials or not?
I did.
Okay, I was more excited.
I couldn't sleep for a long time because I was thinking about how else I could use. I would like to have that media budget. Like the A/B testing there is insane. Like
ABC.
I know.
They did ABC. Never mind AB.
But just the complexity of the footage and then shooting the 3 different versions and then like.
And did you notice very little crossover?
Yeah.
They shot Ice-T, then they shot.
Yeah.
The Swami, and then they shot the other. And I'm thinking, holy shit, guys! It's not like you guys even saved money.
Yeah, no.
And just did a bunch of polls here and there.
No. Full research.
Like what the hell, man?
I know. It's
like that's a marketing group that just went to the bosses and said, "Fuck off! This is what we're doing, and we're spending millions." So
see that Brinks truck there? That's mine.
Seriously.
Hey, what the hell? Yeah, I know.
So people, what's a Car Shield, right?
Car Shield.
So you got to go online, people. Go look at Car Shield. They've got 3 commercials running at the exact same time, speaking to literally 3 different groups of people. I absolutely found it fascinating. Fascinating.
Man.
And then when we did the podcast, like it was even more fascinating.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I know, I still can't get over that they did that. I find that I do. I find that mind bending. Like, wow, the money they spent, and so smartly.
Oh man, I love it. I love it.
Smartly. Oh yeah, that's an hour.
Yeah, that's an hour.
We lost everybody now.
Yeah, and then I guess I will talk to you later.
Yeah, whatever you want. I'm always around. Are we on tonight? No, we're not tonight. It's Tuesday.
Nope, not tonight.
Thursday.
We're good for this week, actually. Do we have Thursday? Yeah, actually, we do have Thursday. We do have somebody Thursday. We've got some really cool guests coming on this week, too. Or in the next couple of weeks. No, we don't have one Thursday. We're good.
Oh, we're free Thursday. That's okay. Yeah. I put out a feeler to a buddy who just went to Dia Foods, which is the vegan food people that are out of Vancouver. They've been around for a million years. So I'm going to see if he can come on because I'd love to know a follow-up sort of to where Jordan was talking about from a brokerage side, but I'd love to have a manufacturer product line because I still think that's going to be a fascinating, massive growth potential, obviously.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's like a ton of stuff there that is going to explode still. So I think it'll be.
Yeah, so I'm going to see if we can grab him to come on because I think it'd be interesting to listen to. Okay, buddy boy, go do your thing. Good work this morning too, by the way. That was great on the thing you sent.
Thanks.
I can shut off the recording now.
All right, that's the end of this Commerce Life. We'll be back soon with the next episode. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us feedback. Tell us what you think. Subscribe, like us, join us, share us, tell your friends about us. And we hope to see you next time with more commerce news.